You've built your career in reality shows. You're always very bubbly. We saw you there in Celebrity Big Brother and here. But obviously behind that has been some sadness in your life, hasn't there? When did that first start?
So I saw quite a bit of violence growing up, and that was just as it was. And I think the thing that got me out of that sadness was I got into Italia Conti, my theatre school, and I had the best time of my life.
On a scholarship as well?
Yeah, well, actually, I went down a year to go there because I didn't get in the first time. And I said, look, you're going into your GCSE years, you're not allowed to go in. So I said, OK, what about if I go down a year? And they're like, you have to ask your mum. I said, no, she said it's fine. So I auditioned, I got in that time. And then I went to go to the scholarship for the college. And it was that day that I got a letter saying, you've got your scholarship, 18th of May, 2006, best day of my life. Later on that day, my nephew died whilst I was looking after him of meningitis and septicemia, and he was only 13 months old. So
a terrible shock for you.
Yeah, and it kind of took away the brilliance of that day. Was no longer, it just didn't mean anything anymore. So
matter after that.
Yeah,
and then your mum had started having problems with her sight at the same time.
Yeah, so my mum actually was born partially sighted, but it didn't affect anything apart from the fact that she couldn't drive. That was the only problem. And then when she got married to my stepdad, it was 2 weeks, and then her eyes just went. And it's a rare condition called uveal effusion syndrome.
And it's to do with going through the menopause, isn't it?
Well, I think that's what caused my mum's her to change, but they didn't know that would happen. It's such a rare gene that my mum was kind of a guinea pig to Moorfields Eye Hospital. So it was so rare and new for them. They couldn't have predicted it was going to happen. So essentially, a fluid built up at the back of the eye. It pulled off the retinas, and then the retinas died.
So how did this affect you? So you lose your nephew who was in your care, so terrible shock, and your mum loses her sight. Very, very difficult for her and the family. How was that affecting you at the time?
I think I got hit with a depression. I didn't know what that was at the time, and I dropped out of school. And I remember going back for rehearsals once because I was kind of going in and out, and then the head teacher let me go away for a couple of months to try and recuperate. And I came back for rehearsals, and there was a teacher, Pat D. She was one of my favourites. She really always give me the solo. She said, "You've got this brightness in your eyes. Yes, you can do it. You've got great stage presence." And I went back for rehearsal, and she said, "It's gone, Jess. The light's gone out." And I think after that, I kind of realised. When you're feeling like that and you're severely in depression, you can't really sing and dance, you can't be jumping around. When it's that bad, I didn't want to see anyone, my confidence was knocked, and I just wanted to hide all the time.
Well, I know your mum's here. Where's Debbie? Hello, Debbie.
I
and
made
her
her
lovely
cry.
guide dog. Her lovely guide dog, Casey, there. You know, very difficult time for the two of you, but you say that you helped each other really get through this. So you kind of became a carer for your mum and helped her grow in her confidence. What were you doing for her, and what was she doing for you?
So eventually I left school, and then, just before I left, I saw Mum, she was on the sofa at home, and I came back from school, like, hours and hours later, and Mum was still on the sofa, and I said, "Mum, have you not moved all day?" She was too scared to go and make a cup of tea because she had her sight, and then it was gone. She was just on her own at home.
The most
terrifying. Yeah. And I said, "Well, Mum, you can either carry on like this, and you're going to be like this for the rest of your life, or we can start doing something about it." So we researched, we found Braille classes. We used to go and pick up all the old ladies around my town in my little full KA at the time. We'd all go off to Braille class.
And you were kind of encouraging her, saying you've got to learn how to live with
exactly.
this.
How did you find that strength? I mean, at a time when you were at your lowest point.
I think it was for me, watching Mum go through something so difficult, kind of thought, oh, hang on, Jess, come on, keep going, keep going. And depression isn't just one of them things you can say, pull yourself out together, pull yourself together. It's not. I couldn't do it. I went on antidepressants at the time, and she was keeping me going because I was like, OK, she needs me, so even though I'm feeling like this, I've got to focus.
Had you felt that, well, what's the point of going on before that?
I did, yeah. There's been a few times where I thought, well, I kind of think very deeply at that time, and I was in a place...
There was a time where you did think of taking your own life, wasn't there?
Definitely. And I just felt like I was a burden to everyone more than anything because I was so depressed. I was like, well, what am I here for? I'm useless.
Well, what was the first big success you had with your mum, with helping?
I think it was going to the Braille classes because we just kind of made a little community. It was me and Mum, and then like three, I think they were like 70, 80-year-olds, and we just picked them all up, and they needed us as well, and we were giving them as much as they were giving us, and I was like, well, blimmin' hell, if they can do
I suppose
this,
you realise you're not alone. Debbie, I suppose you realise you're not alone when you go to something like that. What would you like to say to your daughter about that time and how she did encourage you out of the house?
It was
I was really pleased that she was there, and she's always been there. And the fact that she engaged with all the... we went to the Braille and the classes, and then we were up, she was making tea and she was dotting around, helping them all. And at that time, we were both going through sadness, and after we lost my grandson as well. And I think we really pulled each other up, and we've been doing it ever since.
So you're great strength to each other.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a lovely... You know, I know you were close anyway to your mum, but this really did strengthen your relationship.
Yeah, I think I'm very, very fortunate. Like, we all have idols, and I'm just lucky that's my mum. Like, if I didn't have her and I could see what she pulled herself through...
How strong she was.
Yeah, I think, well, if you can do it, so can I.
Do you think you'll get... depression is something that might come back to you? I mean, what can you do to stop going down that route?
I mean,
again?
now I try to exercise. I make sure, I always say, a healthy body, healthy mind. So I eat well, I exercise, and I know when I have a bad day, I will still get a bad day, but it's not depression anymore. I've worked really, really hard to not have that, and I've turned to reading. I read a lot of self-help. I read, I listen, I learn as much as I can, and that just gives me purpose anyway. So.
I knew nothing about this, and I think it's incredible what you and your mum have done. I really do. It's admirable. Yeah. You're a wonderful person.
Well, you say you've saved each other, haven't you?
Definitely.
And it's lovely that you're both here. Thank you. Thank you very much to your mum as well.